Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something huge, data security. And to make sense of it all, we're going to use a pretty powerful metaphor. We're going to learn how to build a digital fortress to protect what's become one of your most valuable assets, your data.
All right, let's just jump right in with a question that, let's be honest, affects every single one of us. You've been there, right? You see that little pop-up, you click agree just to get on with your day. But what does that click actually do? What machine does it set in motion? That's what we're here to unpack.
So, before we can even think about laying the first stone of our fortress, we've got to survey the land. We need to get a really clear picture of what we're protecting and, maybe more importantly, why it's so incredibly critical. This is the groundwork for everything else. Now, here's a really crucial point. Data privacy isn't really about secrecy or hiding things. It's about one simple, powerful word: control. It's your fundamental right to know exactly how your information is being handled and to have a say in it. It's all about having clear, transparent rules for your digital life. And this right here perfectly illustrates that the walls of our fortress need to be stronger in some places than others. You know, your name and email, that's personal. It needs a standard wall. But your health records, that's sensitive stuff. That requires much, much stronger defenses. And then you have the crown jewels, your social security number, your bank account info. That's ultra sensitive, and it needs the highest walls, the deepest moat, the absolute maximum level of security we can build.
Okay, so every good fortress, right, it has to be built on solid ground, a solid foundation. For data, that foundation is built out of laws, a whole set of global regulations that lay out the rules of engagement for anyone who wants to handle our information. And at the heart of this legal landscape, you've really got two titans. Over in Europe, there's GDPR, which was a total game changer. It introduced massive ideas like the right to be forgotten. Then, here in the US, California rolled out the CCPA, giving people the power to tell companies, nope, you can't sell my data. These two didn't just change things locally, they sent ripples across the entire globe, setting a brand new standard. And it's not just them. This thing went global. Brazil jumped in with its LGPD. India with the DPDP Act. You see it everywhere. Even specific industries have their own super strict rulebooks, like HIPAA for healthcare in the US. The big takeaway here is pretty clear. The world is basically coming to an agreement that protecting data isn't a feature, it's a fundamental right. And what's really cool is that all these different complex laws, they all boil down to just a handful of powerful core principles. Things like consent, which means they actually have to ask for your permission first, or data minimization, which says they can only collect what they absolutely need. All of these principles are designed to do one thing: put you back in the driver's seat. All right, our legal foundation is set. It's time to start building. We're going to raise the first major pillar of our fortress, the high-tech locks and keys. We're talking about the main vault door for our data, and it's called encryption.
To put it really simply, encryption takes your normal, readable data, like a text message, and just scrambles it into a secret, unreadable code. The only way to unscramble it is with a specific digital key. So think about it. Even if a thief manages to steal the data, without that key, it's just a bunch of useless gibberish. And just like a real fortress, you need different kinds of locks for different doors. You've got a whole toolkit. When your data is just sitting in the cloud, we call that data at rest, it's locked down by heavy-duty encryption like AES 256. When it's zipping across the internet in an email, data in transit, it's protected by TLS, which is that little padlock you see in your browser. It's all about using the right lock for the right situation. Okay, pillar number 2 is a bit different, and it's actually really clever. This one isn't about locking data away. It's about hiding it in plain sight. These are techniques that let us use data without ever revealing its secrets. It's a kind of digital disguise called obfuscation. This is where it gets so fascinating because these disguises let companies work with data safely. Masking, for example, just hides part of an email, but tokenization, that's brilliant. It swaps out your actual credit card number for a completely useless random placeholder. It's like a stand-in. This is absolutely essential for developers who need to test their systems with realistic data without ever exposing your real, sensitive info. And that brings us to our third and final pillar. This is all about the gatekeepers. Our data is locked down and disguised, but now we have to be absolutely sure that only the right people can get into the fortress and access specific rooms. This is all about access control. So, who gets the keys? Well, older systems used role-based access. Pretty straightforward.
If you're an engineer, you get access to the code. If you're in HR, you get the employee files. But the gold standard today is this really radical idea called zero trust. The philosophy is right there in the name. Never trust, always verify. It assumes no one is safe by default and forces every single request to prove it's legitimate. It's like having a security guard check your ID at every single door inside the fortress, not just at the front gate. So there we have it. We've got our legal foundation and our three main pillars: encryption, obfuscation, and access control. Now let's put it all together and look at the complete architectural blueprint for how a modern, secure data fortress really works. And what this blueprint shows us is that security isn't just a single action. It's not a checkbox. It's a complete life cycle. From the very second data comes in the door, it's classified and masked. When it's stored, it's encrypted. When it's being used, access is tightly controlled. And finally, when it's no longer needed, it's securely destroyed. Every single step of the journey is protected. But here's the thing about a fortress. You can't just build it and walk away. It needs constant maintenance and vigilance. That means sticking to some critical best practices. Encrypting everything, everywhere. Keeping detailed logs of who accessed what. And maybe the most important one, practicing data minimization. Seriously, if you don't need it, don't collect it in the first place. That's what keeps the defenses strong. And that really brings us to the most important point of all of this. Building this fortress, it's not just about following the rules or trying to avoid a fine. It's about building trust. It's a fundamental, ethical promise you make to your users, and it's a strategic decision that proves strong privacy is actually just good business. And that leaves us with one final thought. Now that you understand the blueprint, now that you see what it really takes to protect data properly, it kind of begs a question for all of us as we go about our digital lives, doesn't it? Who do you actually trust to build and maintain this fortress for your data? It's definitely something to think about the next time you click agree. Thanks for watching.